What's very good about our image is that when you look at our masks, you think of what we stand for. And we stand for the conscience of the art world. And we feel that there is underrepresentation of women and minorities. And when you see our logo, basically, when you see our face, that's what we stand for, and it's not personal.
Women artists
It's difficult to realize that half a century ago,
have never gotten the serious attention and certainly not the serious money that male artists do.
a woman was not even a person. But it took quite a long struggle by some very determined women to change this.
Hundreds of years ago in Europe, kings and queens told us what art was, and we stuck with that. Now that the world aspires to democracy, why should billionaires and oligarchs define what our visual culture is? Isn't that backward?
What's very good about our image is that when you look at our masks, you think of what we stand for. And we stand for the conscience of the art world. And we feel that there is underrepresentation of women and minorities.
In 1984, the Museum of Modern Art had a big exhibition. Out of close to 200 artists in the show, there were only 17 women and even fewer artists of color. And it occurred to some of us that the art world was basically a white male place, and no one asked why. And say, well, if there are no women, there are no artists of color, it just means they're not making work that's good enough. And we knew that that was a tired excuse. There was a protest, placards and chantings and a picket line. The only thing that we accomplished was to anger visitors to the museum. We noticed it didn't work. Everyone was willing to excuse the art world. So we decided that day that we had to figure out a way to make people care. There was discrimination right in front of people's noses, but they didn't see it.
The thing is, when you tell people the system is unfair, they don't really believe you. But when you show them the numbers, there's nothing they can say to counteract that.
We started to name names in the art world. Lists of galleries and museums that didn't show women and critics that didn't write about women. We would go after every cross-section in the art world. Everyone was passing the buck to someone else. The white male artist said, I can't tell my gallery what to show. And the gallerist said, I can't show women because their work doesn't sell. And then collectors would say, well, I can't buy women or artists of color because I don't see them. We were just angry. If art is a record of culture, and the art doesn't look like the culture, and the art is told only through the works of white males, that's basically what it is. It's the history of patriarchy, not the history of who we are. We figured out this formula that if you make people laugh, if you put people on the spot, and if you use information, you can actually change people's minds. And the only thing you can do to a system that oppresses you is to make fun of it. And we did it by being provocative.
The Guerrilla Girls, who call themselves the conscience of the art world, have plastered their answer all over town.
It was a lot of fun, especially when you're anonymous and you wear gorilla masks. Everyone can own a poster of ours.
We want to talk in a way that people can digest easily, and we want to produce something that everybody can be part of.
I'd be happier to know that we have posters in millions of college dorm rooms than hanging over the couch of some billionaire art collector.
We are outsiders. We will always point at what's happening at institutions and critique that. A lot of people ask us, like, oh, you're criticizing the museums, but then we can see your work at institutions. And actually, it makes total sense to us because we love to criticize an institution right on its own walls. That's really fun. There's many ways to bring about change. Art is not accessible to the masses. We travel all around the world, and our main message is to question what you're seeing. Don't just accept what you see at institutions. You have to think about what's not being shown, why that thing is being shown, how did it get there.
To actually critically engage with the work and ask the larger questions, what might not be in this museum?
So, for example, for our 30th anniversary, we revisited how many women had one-person exhibitions at New York City museums. In 1985, it was 0010. And in 2015, it was 1121. That's the progress, which is, a little depressing. What has changed? So in 1985, when we said the art world, there was systemic problems. Everyone was like, no, if women and artists of color were making art that was as good as white men, it would be at these institutions. No one would say that now. And numbers will always take a while to catch up, but the fact that thinking has changed is encouraging. Artists are really at the forefront of the resistance.
Artists have to think politically while they make their art and think of alternative ways to live and to do their work and to survive.